Here we are in Taylor, Texas. We're here at Mueller BBQ, and we are here for one thing and one thing only, and that is the beef rib. We probably will get a couple of slices of brisket just to try it, but we didn't come here for that. We came here for the beef rib. Everybody said this is the beef rib to have, and so that's what we're gonna have. So we are finally inside Mueller BBQ with our food, and the line was a little long. That's, it is what it is. And remember what I said out front. I said we came here for the ribs and only the ribs. So that's what we got. So we got a rib, and got talking to a whole bunch of other stuff by other people in line. So we got some burnt ends, we got a half a pound of brisket, and we even got a Frito pie, which I have heard of and never had before. And we got some banana pudding because, why not? Shall I try the beef rib? This is ridiculous. Okay, I can't. Here, I'm just gonna have the piece that it didn't stay on the bone. I'm just gonna have this piece. Very different. This is what I want in a beef rib. It's not so. We're gonna come back to that. That is amazing. Wet. Here we go. I'm gonna pull a fork here. The burn ends, they're basically it's kind of like where it was at the Salt Lick, where it's just a cut of the brisket with some sauce on it. I'm gonna come back to that. I thought this. I would just say it's good. It's tasty. It's nowhere near like what we had at the other places that sort of have more prepared burn ends. I'm gonna take some of this brisket here. Notice how I'm just gonna. Well, let's do the test where we have it here, and I have to pull it a little harder than I did yesterday, right? But very solid bark, very peppery finish. It's a little unfair that we're trying this after Valentina's, which was the most tender brisket. This is nowhere near that level of tender, but it's still really good brisket. And really good flavor. It's going to be very peppery, which I think my lovely camera person might not like it for that reason. You know what? Since we're rolling, I'll try the mac and cheese. Very nice creamy mac and cheese with a little hint of spice, a little bit. And we'll save the banana pudding for later. Are you ready to have some yourself? I just want to film what it's like to eat this beef rib. See this big slab of meat? I'm gonna stick my fork in here and I just turn it. And there's my serving of beef rib, which I'm now going to eat. This is hands down the best beef rib I've ever had in my life. It's not even close. This is what we said we came here for. And honestly, if we had stuck with just that, I think we'd be happy. And we're still gonna be happy, but, you know. All right, I'm gonna try the Frito pie, which is basically Fritos, and then on top of the Fritos, they pour beans, and then cheese, and then chopped beef. I'm going to try to get a little bit of all of that in my first bite. Obviously the Fritos get soggy. It's all the flavors, you know. Got a little bit of the Frito in there. If you don't like Fritos, then don't Frito pie. You can taste the cheese, you can taste the chopped brisket.
Slightly spicy. Just a bit.
You think it's spicy? I don't know what she's talking about. It's not spicy. It's not Curtis spicy anyway. But that's not the same as Lynn spicy. All right, I'm gonna have another bite here. It's kind of like Texas nachos is kind of what I would describe it, right? Anyway, thumbs up on the Texas, or the Frito pie. So we've been to a few other barbecue places and got the banana pudding. Only once did we feel like we were eating homemade banana pudding. Most of the time we felt we were eating Jell-O pudding. It was really obvious because it's like this bright yellow, you know, the standard yellow. This is very clearly homemade. The consistency and the color, you're only going to get making it yourself. You were right. For those of you that complain about me not letting her eat, she got to eat this first, or at least taste it first. Oh, that is something. I'm like, that's an amazing banana pudding. Wow, I would just say best. Would you say yes? Yes. Okay. All right. That is over the top amazing. The banana pudding, best we've had this week.
Yes.
What was the one that we had that we really liked?
Was it Killings?
Was it Killins that had, yeah, it was Killins that had the best up to this point. This surpasses that, right? Yeah, this surpasses that. That is amazing, clearly homemade, and just, it's like the consistency is more like
custard.
I don't know how to describe it. All right, let's finish out here. So my thoughts on, where are we? Louis Mueller barbecue. My thoughts on Louis Mueller barbecue overall. First off, I think it would have been fine if we'd have stuck with our original plan, which is to get the beef rib. Clearly, we weren't able to finish the beef rib. We got about maybe halfway in. There's all this other stuff. In my order of like preference, I'm gonna say the beef rib. Well, I don't know. Beef rib tied with the with the banana pudding. You have to have the Louis Mueller beef rib. If you've never had it, it's completely different presentation. It's a very strong, solid bark on it, but not too peppery, right? You didn't think it was too peppery?
No, it's just right. Just it's perfectly seasoned.
Yeah, it's a little bit more cooked than the other beef ribs that we've had. So there's the fat has had a time to maybe drain out a little bit. It has this massive beefy, like the beefiest flavor of anything we've had so far. So in my order of preference, yeah, these two tied, and then oddly enough, I'm going to say the Frito pie because it's just something I've never really had. I thought the brisket and the associated pork ends were okay. Earlier in the video, you may have noticed I did the test where I'm pulling on the fatty portion of the brisket, and it should separate with very little effort, right? It should hold its own weight and then separate if you pull it, and it gave quite a little bit of effort in terms of comparing it to other briskets. And the burnt ends, if you like their brisket, the burnt ends are basically portions of the brisket with some sauce on it. It's not the candied version of burnt ends that we've had in other videos. The mac and cheese was really good, also homemade. And also, something that sets this barbecue place apart, this is I don't know, your 8th?
Anjou?
What did they call this?
Anjou is what I would call it.
Well, I would call it anjou. I think they just called it the sauce or something. They said, do you want the meat sauce? I think they called it the meat sauce. And I think I'm going to, it's yummy by itself. But you take the other stuff and you dip it in here, and it's it looks like it's meat, maybe meat drippings. I'm not sure exactly how they make it, but you dip in here, and that hasn't been offered at any other place. I'll take a picture of just what this looks like from above later. But anyway, I'd say, if you're looking for brisket, I think there are better places. It's not bad brisket. I just think that some of the other brisket places are much better. But if you're looking for beef ribs, it's not even close. So I'd say come here, get the beef rib, spend their ridiculous amount of money for a single piece of meat. But they ask you, they go, do you know how big it is? Do you know how much that costs? And you're like, yes we do. That's what we're here for. But and by the way, it was a little slow in terms of the speed of the line compared to some of the other places. And when we got up there, what it appeared to be is that they just have one person right now cutting the meat, and I think that was sort of the holdup. But the good news is that he clearly was putting, care into each slice, whereas that was a criticism I had at perhaps Snow's. So, with care comes a slow speed. So thumbs up for Louis Mueller Barbecue. I also I think they're pretty smart to use these little flags that you'll see in the pictures. Really smart, Louis Mueller. Anyway, so I hope you enjoyed this video.